We are recording.
Okay, welcome everyone to the Southwick Concert, Community Preservation Committee meeting tonight. It's March 31st, 7 p.m. We're meeting via Zoom. For members tonight with us, let's see, who do we have? Brian Walker, John Wally, Chris Pratt, David Spina, Deb Harith, and we have somebody else who's the phone number, Dennis, do we know?
Who is the 636 number?
Robin Solik.
Okay. So that's who we have for our members. We also have Russ Fox from the Select Board with us as well. And welcome everybody. Okay. Doug Moglen is now here. Okay. Okay, so before us tonight, we have an amended project submission on the town hall roof, looking for historical funding. And who would like to address how that was amended?
You want me to take a shot at that, Chris?
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay. At your last meeting, you asked us to come back with 3 quotes. We came back with 2 because the addition to the senior center that was recently done is not part of the project whatsoever. So we got 2 quotes from the designer for the original building and for the 1954 addition. The original building would be between $50,000 and $60,000. 1954 addition would be between $20,000 and $25,000.
Okay. So as we met last time, I had sought information from the state on both of the projects to see how they fit into the historical. As we voted last week, it seemed to be pretty clear that the old fire station, the police station, fit very, very well because it has the historical roof and the bell tower on top. And the town hall, however, kind of looks like a maintenance problem. This would be the issue with that project in general. I just like to share my screen and go over the flow chart from the CPC or the CPA. Anybody see my screen?
Nope.
No. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay, let's try. Here we go. Okay, can people see my screen now? Anybody see the flow chart? Okay. So the flow chart that we use for looking at historical funding goes as follows. And we went through most of this last time and we followed it through, looking at the different prospects for funding through historical. It is a building or an artifact. It is it's not on the historic state register. And it was questionable whether or not that the roof fell underneath the historical condition for what we're looking at. So I went both ways on that. We could have deemed it not eligible for CPC funding because the roof is not historic. If we did decide that it was historic, that the building is historic, and we could look at preservation of his historic resource, that could be the only possible way that could be seen. However, the state deems maintenance is not a preservation. And as it states in the act, maintenance is an incidental repair which neither materially add to the value of the property or appreciably prolong the property life, but keep the property in condition of fitness, efficiency, or readiness, which is kind of what this project is looking to do. So I have some reservations about how this fits a historic project. The application states that, you know, they're 26-year shingles on the top. The asphalt shingles are 26 years, or, you know, meant to be lasting that long. And, you know, it's been 26 years since they've been placed. So this looks like a regularly scheduled maintenance project to me. But we can have some discussion on that. So I'd like to open the floor for discussion. Is there anyone who'd like to discuss?
No, I agree. Was the roof always shingles, asphalt shingles?
The original roof was not. That was put on, what was it, 26 years ago, Russ?
Correct.
Yeah, that was placed 26 years ago. They did the trusses over the top of I believe it was a flat roof at the time,
Okay.
a regular old school roof.
Mhm. Right, so there's no old roofing.
There's no
like
really,
tile or
there's
slate
no
roof
real
that we could
historic
restore,
value to
right?
the roof.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a
Anyone else?
question.
Yes.
If this were not to get approved, what other funding would be sought in order to pay for this?
Okay, Russ?
That's a good question, Jeannie. Yeah, if we can't do it through CPC money, you know, obviously we'd have to go back to the town budget, you know, to the voters to see if we could get funding through that source, through the taxpayers.
Is there anything coming off any bonds that are coming off, Russ, that?
No, matter of fact,
you're-
we just signed Monday night $3 million worth of bonds. The alum treatment was one of those.
Yeah, that's through
Roads
CPA.
was another, and the 1.1 million on the fire station. So we're almost at the point where our bonding is going to, if we continue, is going to look for a debt exclusion. Or a complete
How far away,
override
you know how far
proposition
away
to
we
it.
are from the 2.5, Russ? Or
Yeah, we're getting to the point where our financial advisors are saying that push is coming to shove. So let me just, you know, two things. I don't know if it makes a difference. I was told that the Historical Commission voted to support this project at their meeting. And then my second thing is other community preservation money has been used inside the building. Is it possible
Right.
to use other than historical funding to assist in preserving this structure?
not really, because it is a maintenance issue. You're not really adding any value to the property where the other projects did add resource to the property. The windows were deemed historical because they're historic look, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah, I just, I'm looking at this,
No, I definitely appreciate your
right,
effort. in
I'm just
looking-
looking at, we've used community preservation monies to do the windows, to do the staging, to do lighting. And common sense would say, you use money to protect it, now that we've utilized that money on the inside, so. um,
Yeah, actually, the protection part comes under your responsibility, I suppose. Again,
Could-
being a maintenance.
Yeah. Just for
project.
clarification, Chris,
Yeah,
the roofing project at the Moore House.
yes, that was historic because it was, the wood shingles were put on it and it was a historic building, so it was replaced in a historic fashion that preserved the
Okay.
integrity of the look of the building.
Yeah.
Or the actual originality of the building. So that was a little bit different, as is the roof on the police station, which the police station one, I mean, that looks like a great project that, we could definitely help out in a big way as far as replacing those the slate roof on the, police station. That sounds like a great historic project. So, I mean, that looks like a super way of using CPA money. And that is also a roofing project, but it's different, from the town hall. Slate roofing will last up to like 100 years. So you were adding value, you're reserving the historic integrity of the building. And, the tower, it's the bell tower itself is historic, so restoring that is also a good project.
Could you, and maybe you already said it and I might have missed it. What's the difference in definitions between preservation and maintenance?
Okay, so maintenance is incidental repair, which neither materially add to the value of the property nor appreciably prolong the property's life, but keeps the property in a condition of fitness, efficiency, or readiness.
Okay.
So it's like, 26-year shingles, 26-year replacement.
Sure. And preservation is just activity to make
That
sure
would
that it doesn't.
be, right, that would be
collapse
kind
or
of like
deteriorate.
at the, one of the previous meetings where we're preserving the integrity of the library by replacing the historic windows. That'd be
Mhm.
helping to preserve or rehabilitate a historic resource.
I don't know if it's maybe a stretch of the definition, but it's, replacing the roof or putting a roof on it, is that preserving the integrity of the balance of the structure?
Right, I mean, that's very loosely using it because it is a regularly scheduled thing.
Yeah.
And 26-year shingles, we should have known that it's been 26 years since they've been replaced.
Yeah.
So can't really see it as an emergency request.
When you say emergency, Chris, does it
aspect of
count that we
preservation.
have issues right now that are causing damage to the interior of the building?
Well, I think there should have been some forethought, Russ, as far as how long the shingles were supposed to last, and pretty much that time is up. So I think there should have been maybe some money put aside for that kind of an instance.
I think some of it
I
was
wouldn't say it's a
because
surprise.
I think some of it was a design flaw, Chris. I don't think it was so much the maintenance because the roof is checked annually and money is spent annually. But I think some of the design flaws are in the how water is moved on that roof.
Yeah, but as far as fixing part of the roof, doesn't need to fix the whole roof. If you have a leak, we don't, you don't need to fix the entire roof over a leak that might be in one little area. So if that's the instance that there's a leak somewhere, that can be easily repaired.
Isn't the leak HVAC related anyway?
I don't know. Is the leak HVAC related, Russ, do you know, or
I couldn't hear the question, Chris.
is the leak related to the air conditioning unit, or is that due to the roof
That's
structure?
one problem, but no, some of the, I think some of the other corners and the way the roof was laid out, we've had leaks in several different locations.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, you're in it. Your meeting is going on.
Hear it. I can't see it.
who do we have
You
talking?
may.
That's,
I think it's Lee.
yeah, Lee's joining
Yeah,
us.
it is Lee. They're saying it's you.
Hi, Lee.
How are you today?
Very well. Do you have any input that you'd like to give us on the roof project at the town hall? We were discussing that it looks like a maintenance project rather than a restoration or preservation of a historic resource.
Okay. The Historical Commission met last night
Mhm.
via Zoom, and we voted to recommend CPC funding for the main roof and for the 54 addition, and not for the newest wings.
Okay.
What was your thought process on that, Lee?
The process of thinking was that the two sections of the buildings are classified as historic, and that the project did not fall under a rehabilitation, so it did not require the Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation of historic buildings for compliance with that, and that it was not a acquisition project either, so there was no need for placing any type of historic preservation restriction on the project. So our thought was that under those circumstances, that we were going to approve it. We, at least I personally, was not pleased with not so much the project, but the Community Preservation Act and its lack of clarity for making determinations on projects like this.
Right. And I just read something that came, well, a newer definition of what maintenance is. I don't know if you were here.
I wasn't.
Okay, so maintenance purposes are not funded through the CPA, and it reads as follows through the act: incidental repairs which neither materially add to the value of the property nor appreciably prolong the property's life, but keep the property in a condition of fitness, efficiency, or readiness. So that's the definition of maintenance through the act right now, and maintenance is not allowed through the act.
Okay, the term we were applying was the term preservation, I believe.
Right, and that's
But,
the one we had discussed last meeting, and that's the one I have highlighted on my my screen. I don't know if you can see my screen. But,
Again, there's a lack of real crisp clarity on these terms. I hate to say it.
right, and I think sometimes they do that on purposely. I'm pretty sure you know how that works.
So if we don't do it, then it goes down to rehabilitation of a historic resource because it's going to be a mess.
Well, it wouldn't be a rehabilitation because
It
you'd
wouldn't
have
be
to
a
replace everything.
rehabilitation
6
based
months from
upon
now,
their
it
legal
might.
definition.
No, you'd have to replace everything to its original condition to be a rehabilitation.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Are we at liberty to approve what the historical commission had recommended and not approve everything? Or is this a one shot, or is this all or none?
We can do anything, and it can even be amended on the town hall floor. I mean, at the town meeting. As far as amounts and things like that are concerned. I just wanted to make everybody aware of what the act says. I feel that's my job. But I do appreciate the, select boards looking into different ways of funding
Chris, if
project.
we do approve this and the state deems this was not the proper use of funds, can we lose our funds?
I believe the Department of Revenue would investigate before that would happen. And I'm not really sure, what they would find.
Yeah, I'm not at home. I don't have that sheet with definitions in front of me, so I can't make too many comments, Chris.
I appreciate that, Lee. Thank you.
Chris, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, Mr. Wally.
My motion would be to reject the project as maintenance.
Okay, do I have a second?
So while we were looking here, I kind of looked up the definition of preservation in the act,
Mm-hmm.
and it says protection of personal real property from injury, harm, or destruction. So I guess the question in my mind is the roof there to prevent it from harm or destruction? Or is the roof needed to prevent it from harm, prevent harm or destruction of the structure?
Yeah, but we can't use it for maintenance, so that's
Not maintenance, it'd be preservation then.
Well, it's not really. I don't know.
That's a gray area.
The roof, it's not historic, so we're not preserving the roof. The roof is not a historic artifact, so we're not
Right, but I
preserving
think-
a historic artifact.
Good point.
But are we not preserving the building with the roof?
That's not our purview. That's the town's purview. Now that the building is historic, they're in charge of maintaining that as historic at the CPA. So that's a little difference in looking at what is historic to be preserved, which is the building itself. The building itself is historic as I see it. The preservation of the building through the roof, which is not historic, would be up to the town to do because the building is deemed an historic place. That's just the way I'm interpreting this.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. And that's the way, when I read what maintenance is, that pretty much is what it looks like.
Chris, point of order. Is it possible to get a ruling from someone?
Yes, we are here.
No, I mean,
Well-
someone from the State Community Preservation
Yeah,
Coalition?
I did speak with Stuart, and he did seem to think this was a maintenance project.
Because I needed my own email, I didn't have the JW one.
So I did speak to Stuart personally about this project and as well as the police station project. He was definitely thinking that this looked like a maintenance project. And, I'm looking at it both ways. You know, as originally I looked at it as it could be a preservation of a historic resource, like Dave was saying, but the roof is not historic. However, the building is. So it's the responsibility of the person who owns the historic place to preserve it, or to preserve that portion of the historic part. The way I was interpreting it, is the way it was explained to me.
And I can get everything from there.
So Mr. Wally has made a motion. Do I have a second?
His name, and I don't want his name.
I second.
Ryan Walker is a second.
Would he repeat the motion again?
The motion was to turn down the project. Okay. Beth, what do you say?
I'm really sorry. There was someone talking in the background and I didn't hear what you said.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to reject the projects.
I reject the project.
Jeannie, what do you say?
I'm opposed.
Okay, thank you. Ruth, what do you say?
I'm opposed.
David?
I'm going to vote to not reject the project.
Okay. And Deb?
I'm opposed to the project.
And I as well. So we have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 to 1. Motion carries to reject the project. Okay. So we will move on.
Can I get that vote call again, please?
6 to 1. The only one for the project is Dave Spina. All else oppose.
Okay. I'm going to leave it this time. Thank you for letting me take part in the meeting.
Okay, thank you for coming, Lee.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Well, I'm going to say goodbye also, and thank you for supporting the fire station.
I mean, that looks like a great project, Russ, and hopefully you'll be back with the project itself.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
all right.
All right. Good night. Stay
Have a good
safe.
night. Thank you very much.
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing at this time. Okay. Find my agenda. All right,
Chris?
so, yes,
I think you mentioned that this will go, of course, go before the town. What happens if can the town do anything about taking it from community preservation funding or?
no, it can't go before the town as community preservation. It'll have to go before the town as a funding through the our general tax revenue.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Dennis, do we have the warrant articles to look at, or?
The warrant articles were all approved at the last meeting, Chris,
Perfect.
and I sent them to Sue. I wasn't sure who gets them, but Carl Steinhardt said they should go to him. Tomorrow's the deadline. April 1st is the deadline. So Sue, could you make sure that they get to Carl Steinhardt for tomorrow, please?
Yes, okay.
Thank
Okay.
you.
You don't have any other budget issues or revenue sheet? Okay, everything else looks in order. We did the town report as well. Did we look at that? I don't remember.
All right, no worries.
We can do that another time. Our annual
Just we need to approve the last meeting minutes?
I didn't have them in time to post. We can have another meeting next month, and we can do some housekeeping things. There's some
Okay.
things that we can do then. We can do the annual information. You have to have an informational meeting before the end of June. We can meet before then as well. All right. Anybody else have anything they'd like to say?
Motion to adjourn?
That would be one. Adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay, yeah, a first and a second. I'm a third. Beth is a fourth. Jeannie, what do you say? Ruth? David?
I agree.
Okay, Deb?
Yes.
All right. Okay, good night, everyone, and thank you.